I really believe that was one of God's greatest gifts to give me, Carl Dean.
It's a rare gift to find the love of your life. It's even more rare in the fraught world of Hollywood. Dolly Parton managed to find it in the most unlikely of places. The over-the-top country singer was wooed by a shy private man on her first day in Nashville. Carl Dean and Dolly Parton kept up an almost 60-year love affair. It inspired some of Dolly's best songs. He supported her in private. He was so hidden that fans wondered if he even existed, but they complimented each other well. Keep watching as Dolly Parton breaks down announcing the death of her husband. How Dolly Met Carl. Dolly met Carl when she was 18. She had just moved to Nashville and stepped into the wishy-washy laundromat to wash her clothes. It may not have been what you might call love at first sight for her, but there was definitely an immediate connection. As Dolly said, quote, "I was surprised and delighted that while he talked to me, he looked at my face, a rare thing for me. He seemed to be genuinely interested in finding out who I was and what I was about." She didn't go out with him that first day. She did welcome him to come to her house the next day because she was babysitting her nephew. Things moved fairly quickly after that. That was mainly because Carl had fallen in love at first sight. He said, quote, "My first thought was, I'm going to marry that girl. My second thought was, Lord, she's good looking." He was so smitten, he came over to the house every day that week. He took her to meet his parents on their first official date. The relationship progressed from there. Getting and staying married. Dolly and Carl were married May 30th, 1966. It was a small ceremony in Ringgold, Georgia. They chose the location because it was the only place they knew of where you could get a license and get married on the same day. They wanted to keep the marriage as secretive as possible because Dolly's record label feared how it would affect her career. That's why they had such a small ceremony with only her mother, the preacher, and his wife as witnesses. It was the first and last marriage for both of them. They renewed their vows in 2016. It was her chance to finally have a big ceremony with a white wedding dress. How did they manage to make it last so long? Dolly once jokingly said, quote, "I always joke and laugh when people ask me what's the key to my long marriage and lasting long. I always say, stay gone." The frequent traveling, unlike many other couples, brought them closer together. She was a famous touring singer, and he even had to be in the army while they were dating. It made them appreciate any time they did get to spend together more. Dolly and Carl also have different personalities, with one a vibrant cowgirl singer and the other a shy mechanic. In her opinion, that's what made the relationship fun. She said, quote, "I never know what he's going to say or do. He's always surprising me." Those surprises included small romantic gestures like picking wildflowers and giving them to her in a bouquet. Tuning out the tabloids. A woman as famous as Dolly Parton is going to get wrapped up in tabloid speculation about her marriage. She notes,
This world is built on greed and gossip. And, of course, people are going to talk. People want to talk. And I don't even mind what they say.
Carl's intense hold over his privacy and rare public appearances made it even worse. Rumors that he didn't even exist were only the beginning of their problems. There were speculations that the marriage was a cover-up for her relationship with her lifelong friend Judy Ogle. She's denied these claims vehemently. Judy is her best friend, and there's a deep form of love there, but only the type felt between best friends. She also denied ever having an affair with Burt Reynolds, her co-star in 1982's The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. Dolly did admit that she and Carl both flirted with other people, but nothing more than that. She also had a devastating emotional affair of the heart with her bandleader. She says Carl was secure within himself and has never been jealous of her. She also added, quote, "We're not afraid that one of us is going to run off with somebody else because we couldn't find in nobody else what we found in each other." Working together and inspiring a classic song. The idea of worrying about Carl running off did inspire one of Dolly's most well-known songs, Jolene. A flirty bank teller once seemed a bit too interested in him. She says, quote, "She got this terrible crush on my husband, and he just loved going to the bank because she paid him so much attention. It was kind of like a running joke between us. When I was saying, hell, you're spending a lot of time at the bank. I don't believe we've got that kind of money." So it's really an innocent song all around, but it sounds like a dreadful one. Carl was also her muse in other ways. The song Just Because I'm a Woman was inspired by a discussion about Dolly's previous sexual history. Other songs that he reportedly inspired include From Here to the Moon and Back, Forever Love, Say Forever You'll Be Mine, Tomorrow is Forever. Despite being married to one of the biggest names in country music, he was a fan of the rock and roll genre. That inspired her to cover some of his favorite songs, such as Lynyrd Skynyrd's Freebird and Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. He also inspired Dolly's 2023 Rockstar album. It had major rock influences. She made sure to put one of his favorite songs she ever wrote, My Blue Tears, on it. Trying to maintain privacy. Carl was always supportive of his wife's career. He never wanted to interfere with it or force her to change her schedule at all. He also didn't want to be a part of the bright lights of the music business. He even hated the public events. As Dolly remembers,
I took him to my first award dinner. I had won an award, BMI award, for the Song of the Year. And my husband went with me, had rented a tuxedo, which I had him do. He was absolutely miserable. And on the way to the car from the dinner, he was taking off stuff. He said, we got in the car and he said, you know what, I want you to do really well. And I really do. And I don't mind what you do, but I ain't never going to more of them damn things. So don't even ask me. So I never have, and he never did.
Dolly and Carl took steps to let him maintain a private lifestyle. He didn't attend the premiere of 1980's 9 to 5, but chose to watch it on his own. When reporters would come by, he'd occasionally lie and say he was the gardener. Carl also wasn't made a visible part of Dolly's theme park, Dollywood. He wanted to be able to go there without being recognized, and that's what happened. Only a few photos of the couple ever got out. He was on the album cover of My Blue Ridge Mountain Boy and appeared occasionally on social media. He was so private, it's almost understandable that rumors he never existed began to surface. They had a love that lasted over 60 years. Dolly once said, "Carl is the one man in my life. I would love to grow old with him. If he should die first, I may never marry again. My love is that deep." Announcing Carl's death. Carl Dean died age 82, March 3, 2025. No official cause of death has been announced. He's survived by his two siblings, Sandra and Donnie. There was a private ceremony with only immediate family attending. Dolly released a statement saying, quote, "Carl and I spent many wonderful years together. Words can't do justice to the love we shared for over 60 years. Thank you for your prayers and sympathy." Writing a song in tribute. Writing songs is often the best way to get over tragedy, as Dolly says.
That's just what I do. It's my therapy, it's my job, it's my joy, and it's like a poet, you know, everything's a song to me. Anything that happens.
Dolly decided to give it a try after the loss of Carl. It's called If You Hadn't Been There. It looks back on their life together and hypothetically wonders what it would have been like if they hadn't met. The lyrics ask questions like, if you hadn't been there, well, who would I be? Then they assert, I wouldn't be here if you hadn't been there. The tune celebrates the positive impact he had on her life. It's a sweet way to honor the memory of a man who not only was the love of her life, but her muse on so many projects. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite Dolly Parton song? Let us know in the comments section below.